Testing 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3.
Hey Wade, this is K9PQ. I heard you on Echolink. I've got Ron on Discord, and he said he saw you but did not hear you on video repeater. K9PQ, standing by for net.
Test 1 2 3. This is W7ITL.
He's not coming through on 2 meters, I guess.
I still heard you on Echolink, but Ron is not hearing you.
Remote already in this mode.
Good evening. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. The Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that take to the airways with digital amateur television in the DVB-T format. We transmit on 70 centimeters to a crossband repeater at Cougar Mountain, and it spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz. To find out more about our group, please Google WW7ATS. That's Google WW7ATS. That will take you to our homepage on the internet. There you'll see the exact frequencies we transmit and receive on. And also you'll find a link to YouTube where we stream our nets held Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. Also, we invite you to tune in to WW7STR's 2-meter repeater 147.08 with a tone of 103.5 for the simulcast.
87 ZYM, this is K9PQ. Are you out there, Dave?
On behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, this is Dave, K87ZYM. I'll pause in case anybody has emergency traffic or needs to make a contact on the 08 machine before our net gets fully underway.
James, are you out there? This is K9PQ. We had Dave earlier, so we don't right now.
Again, welcome back. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Checked in already by video link is Ron, KD7QKU. Bob, K9PQ. Wade, W7ITL. Jim, N7QO in Covington. James, WU7N, Northeast Bellevue. And myself, Dave, KD7ZYM. Is anybody else wishing to check in?
Node 564560 disconnected.
Again, welcome to the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. Let's go to Bob, K9PQ. What say you, Bob?
W7ITL testing 123, testing 123.
Let's go to Wade, W7ITL in Tacoma.
The digital side, I'm going to turn off my volume so I don't hear myself twice. There is definitely some issues going on with the repeater tonight. It appears to be the link between our receiving station and our transmit station or repeater. And so I turned temporarily the repeater into bypass mode, so you're not going to hear any audio on the DATV, but you should be able to hear us on the other side if you're listening on 2-meter. So yeah, I don't know what's going on yet. I have to investigate. It might be something to do with the RTCM, which is the digital part of the repeater that converts the analog audio from our other building and brings it over to the transmit site. So I believe that's what's going on. I don't know for sure if that's what's causing this, but that's my my hunch. So I'll be short then because I do need to investigate this. So I'll turn it back to our net control, Dave. This is W7ITL. Back to net.
W7 ITL, Wade in Tacoma. The digital audio is coming through with the pictures at my location, getting video and audio off digital amateur television. And back on 2 meters, let's see if we can pick up Bob, K9PQ.
Node 5.
Okay, thank you.
6,
Well, good
4,
evening to everyone.
5,
Everyone, whoever's here.
0.
I know
Connected to
James Wade,
Node 5,
Ron,
6, 4,
and
5,
Dave. I
6,
have seen
2.
and heard so far. I assume Jim is here, and maybe some others. Well, let's see. I had a quiet Thanksgiving just here at the trailer. I did have, nice, was in touch with my siblings via texting, so we had a nice thread going, and I guess I already spoke with you guys since the inspection. That was Wednesday, so I guess we already talked about that some. It was there were a few minor things that I do want them to take care of, and so we last night, late yesterday, I signed a form basically saying this is what we found in our inspection. We're requesting you to fix these things. So now we're waiting to hear back from them, which I imagine will happen probably Monday or so, whether they're going to do it or not. None of them are showstoppers, as that's a term that I picked up from kind of business jargon. None of them will prevent me from buying the house, but there are some I'd really like them to do. I don't want to have to do it myself. So I guess I'll keep it short myself for the moment and just send it back. This is K9PQ, back to net control.
K9PQ, thanks with that. Let's see if we got Jim with us, N7QO in Covington. Yeah, no response from N7QO. Let's see if James with us tonight, WU7N of Northeast Bellevue.
I'm going to go ahead and try and start OBS just to see what happens. So standby one, please, WU7N.
Okay, this is James, WU7N, here in Northeast Bellevue. I'm going to take off my headphones here. I can see myself on the streaming site, and I could hear myself briefly on 2 meters. I think what happened there is Dave called for Jim, but I couldn't hear him on 2 meters. So maybe Jim and Covington can go next. Well, Bob, I'm glad that things are moving forward with your house. That's all good news. Let's see. I have got some very generous and thoughtful neighbors that are letting me be a parasite on a guest network on their Wi-Fi. So at least temporarily, I've got some Wi-Fi back up. The never-ending CenturyLink story. I got more information from my neighbors. There's one sharp telecom engineer down the end of the street. It's like the poem. There's fiber to the left of us, fiber to the right of us, but there's no fiber here. It's really, really a bit frustrating. So let's see. The latest is CenturyLink is someday. No kidding. It's on their ticket that they're going to fix everything by December the 24th. I'm not making that up. That's actually what they're telling me right now. Which is kind of absurd. I'm looking at T-Mobile. I've got a friend down the street who's using T-Mobile, and it's his full internet. It's not like a hotspot you get on and get off. You leave it on all the time. Only it is a cellular system, so I've got to check into that when I can talk to someone about it. I was looking at their site tonight, and it's really not obvious what plan or what gizmos you need to make that work and turn it into a real working network for an Internet of Things and a couple of computers. So I guess that's all the hot news that is news here. This is James, WU7N. I'm going to go ahead and terminate my OBS link and then turn it back to Dave, our net control. I'm going to hit
WU7N, thanks with that. Well, let's get back to Jim again, N7QO in Covington. I understand the repeater dropped out for a bit. What say you, Jim?
N7QO. Well, there you are. Okay, thanks, Dave. Good evening, everyone. So immediately here, I received everyone over the television audio over the television repeater, but I did not receive anyone over the 2-meter repeater. And then, Ron, when you were last transmitting your picture, I saw your picture just fine, but I did not hear you on either the television repeater or on 2 meters. But it sounds like Wade got something going there. So anyway, now I'm hearing everyone on 2 meters just fine. Let's see, Bob, making progress. Even if there are little things, you might want to get them fixed rather than have to deal with it yourself. I think that's probably a good idea. And Jim, really sorry about that internet access problem you're having. I hope they're not trying to charge you for that. That's just that's disgusting. And although that would be a nice Christmas present, it would have been nicer if it were done a couple months ago. Man. But that's the way it goes, I guess. Well, let's see. It's awfully cold where I am. It's showing 38 degrees, but it feels colder than that. Looking up, I have a bright moon overhead, and I don't see a cloud visible in the sky. So I did see the weather guessers predicting it's supposed to get cloudy tonight, but if it stays like it is now, it's going to be touching freezing by the time we get up in the morning. So we'll see what happens there. Back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
N7QO, thanks with that. I think we're back on the air on both digital and 2-meter audio and getting video out also. Again, this is Dave, KD7ZYM in Lake City. I've currently got 38 degrees and clear, but I was looking at the weather forecast. It's supposed to go down to 32 degrees tonight, so it could be a little bit on the chilly side. Anyway, wishing everybody well, keeping warm. the traditional turkey and had Wagyu steak from Costco. Oh man, that is delicious meat. Unfortunately, it's sky-high price-wise, but boy did it taste good. This afternoon I watched UW and WSU football, and that was pretty good. So anyway, both teams, well, they did the best they could, and anyway, you can't say anything more than that. But as far as Thanksgiving went, I think I gained 5 pounds, so that's where I'm at now. So let's go back up to the top, and Ron has checked out to do something with his wife. So let's go to Bob, K9PQ.
Okay, thank you, Dave. Be sure to get Wade in there too. He is here, or has been here, and apparently fixed the problem. So thank you, Wade. The cold weather. So this was intentional on my part. I am choosing to camp at state parks that are close to the water, close to the salt water, and to help moderate the temperature. And it is working. It's going to get down to 38 degrees here tonight, forecast. And I just happened to check back at my place in Bothell, and that's 33 degrees. They're saying. So, yeah, you guys that are a little further inland, you don't have to be very much further inland, and it gets quite a bit colder. So I'm not. If it was getting below freezing here, I'd be starting to worry a bit about my pipes. The hoses here and pipes in this trailer, they're inside the fiberglass shell, but they are outside of the actual interior. They're underneath the floorboards mostly. So I think I'd be fine down to maybe 30 or so, but I wouldn't want to really push it. And but it looks like for the foreseeable future, it's going to be staying 38 and above. So I'm happy about that. What else is going on? It was sunny yesterday. Got out in the sunshine. Went down to the water, which is for the winter. They closed down all of Deception Pass State Park that's actually close to the water. There's one that's up on the other side of the highway, which is where I am, and so I drove down to the water rather than walked down, and there were a lot of people there, a whole lot of people saying, well, what do we do? It's Friday after Thanksgiving. We got the day off, and we're going visiting family. Oh, let's go to Deception Pass and go check it out. So it was kind of nice, all the people down there at the beach, kind of unusual at this time of year. and so, yeah, that was good. Didn't see anything photograph worthy. Didn't see any seals or fancy seabirds, mostly just seagulls and other things like that. But I did have a good time, and I got out. It was just nice to get out a bit. More and more, I've been staying in the trailer. I've been in the trailer just about all day today. I've just stepped out into my campsite a few times to get some fresh air, but with this weather, I'm staying inside a lot. So there we go. I'll send it back, K9PQ.
K9PQ, thanks with that. Well, let's pick up Wade again. And thanks, Wade, for fixing the 2-meter repeater, getting that re-going. W7ITL in Tacoma, Wade.
All right. Well, it looks like I got 2-meter going. I can see it on the waterfall on my radio here. I'm not listening to myself, so I'll just assume everything's working. I see the little audio graph and everything working. So yeah, had a little glitch, had to reboot things, and everything's back to normal. Well, Thanksgiving was pretty successful. I had a lot of turkey, a lot of ham, all the holiday, the foods. It was a little too much for me. So it took me about a day or so to recover. But doing pretty good now. Looks like somebody's trying to other input. Maybe that's Carlos. I don't really have a lot to say. I did get back from Everett this morning. My wife and I went up to decided to stay at a hotel, and that's what we did. So just kind of enjoying my last few days before I got to go back to work. So it's nice to hear and see everybody tonight. I'm going to turn back to net control, Dave, and I may or may not come on the next round. I'm just a little tired, but we'll see. So with that said, I'll turn back to net control.
W7ITL, thanks with that. Let's move on to Covington, N7QO, Jim.
The 2-meter repeater doesn't seem to be dropping. Can you hear me okay?
Full quieting at this point, coming through on 2 meters.
Okay, very good. It seems like something's not functioning quite well there. But it's working anyway. So let's see. Well, Wade, we saw your Christmas tree in the background. That looks really good. My wife and I have not gotten around to doing that yet. And oh, by the way, Dave, I also saw a picture of Carlos, so he's around here as well. Add him to the rotation, please. Bob hanging out by the water. Yeah, that's a good thought. Don't know exactly how much insulation you have under the floor there, but I would like to think that they insulate them reasonably well, down to like 20 degrees or something, but I have not looked at those casitas all that closely. There was a time I was thinking about buying one of those, but my wife kind of nixed that idea. Experiences we've had in the past traveling suggested that it's better for us to get more of a motor home or a van in which we can be rather than have to go outside for anything. It just worked well for us in the past, but good luck for you on that. I seem to be hearing everyone okay now on both 2 meters and on the television repeater. So I'll just turn it back to you now, Dave, N7QO.
N7QO, thanks with that. And let's go to Northeast Bellevue to James, WU7N.
By one here while I spin up OBS.
WU7N?
WU7N?
All right, I'm on. Okay, well, thank you very much, Wade, for putting a little carburetor fluid in the repeater there and getting it restarted. That's good. I did see Carlos appear, so let's make sure we add him in. I'm sure he's got something interesting to say on a Thanksgiving weekend here. Let's see. I had a great Thanksgiving. I got invited over to my older sister and her husband's new digs over in Redmond. They have an absolutely wonderful restaurant over there, so we had Thanksgiving. We were kind of the early crowd there for that, and that was great to get together with the two of them, myself, and then my younger sister and her husband had driven up from the south, 2-hour drive. So I sent them a note today saying thank you so much for doing that. And so the 5 of us had Thanksgiving. And for Christmas, I guess they're going to have quite a herd down there, and I'll be up here. And then my other relatives will be all sorts of other places. So echoes of COVID. I remember during COVID, it just became normal to have holidays kind of by myself. So I guess that's what I'll be doing this Christmas. I don't know. I think everybody heard about my trip down to California, 800 miles of pretty much nonstop driving, and then 800 miles back. That was quite a journey. And I did get some feedback from the daughter of the man who passed away. And you thought your life was interesting as a kid. I don't know if I have to let this drop or not, to let the repeater drop, or if it's an auto pickup. I think last time I spoke with Carlos about this, it's just like a 3-second dropout. So I won't drop OBS. But anyway, the daughter wrote an obituary for the man who passed away, and just casually thrown in there was the fact that since this man had started a group that investigated cults, I guess one of those cults kidnapped her as a child. And then the person who kidnapped her as a child, I guess, chickened out or got weird about it or something, and brought her back to the office building that this research institute was in, saying, I don't know how you say this, here's your kid back? I don't know, but I guess instead of calling police, they gave some kind of counseling to this woman, and she decided to leave the cult that she was in. So, wow, I don't have a story to top that one in from my childhood. So anyway, that was kind of interesting. I saw that today in my email. With that, this is James, WU7N. I'm going to go ahead and turn it back to our net control for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. Dave, this is James. Go ahead and take it away. I'm pushing stop.
WU7N, thanks with that. And we got to get an ID here again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on 2 meters. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. So let's go to Clyde Hill to Carlos, 87NP. What say you, Carlos?
Oh, forgot to turn on the microphone. That doesn't help. Good evening, everyone. 87NP. Oh, wrong camera. Close enough, but not on the right angle. Okay, here we are. So I took some notes. Great to see everyone. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. We were a small group of 31, so that was quite an adventure. But we managed it, and we're all good in recovery mode now. Bob, I definitely didn't even cross my mind to go to Deception Pass on Friday, so that's definitely, do not count me on the group of people thinking about driving there. I joined the net after the issues in the beginning, so I don't know exactly. I think Wade mentioned it was on the 08 repeater. From what I could see, the television one was going fine. It seemed like in the beginning it was not able to make the connection to the All-Star, but I forced it manually. So that seemed to be fine. Bob, congratulations on the inspection, and that means like we're getting close. I like that very much. Although I like that background on the here you are. You're on the background of my scene also. So that's a good one. Way the Christmas tree looks good. Here at our place, we are in the transition mode from the Thanksgiving tree into the Christmas tree. So I think this weekend there's more activities going. James, your internet is doing a great job. I think this week is the week that the OBS certificates expire. So I'm going to send you all emails because it's every 3 months. So the certificate that you're using for streaming is expiring this week. So I'm going to send you all an email with a new one so that no one loses access. Jim from Covington, good note there. I was able to hear just fine, and from what I can see here now, the TV repeater seems to be holding out just fine, both on audio and video. After the fact that I enjoyed my FD290 that's up here, then I thought I needed a 790 and a 690, so I added the UHF and the 6 meters one. So I like the look of those radios. So now I have 2 more radios to replace capacitors. James, you were asking about dropout. So different answers for different people because we're such a flexible net. But if you're using OBS the way you are, so you'll see that, or kind of whenever we're sending audio just over the TV repeater, when it gets to the 0 seconds on that counter, there will be a 3-second counters in green. So what happens during that time is that everyone listening directly on the TV repeater will keep getting your audio, but on the 2 meters we just drop for 3 seconds. So there's just a couple of words that get lost, but there's no need to discontinue. Unless you are sending video to the repeater, but you're doing 2 meters at the same time, and in that case you're controlling the repeater directly, so you'll have to drop. So sorry that's not as an easy answer as it could be, but we are quite flexible for all these different situations. And Dave, good signal, so I'm gonna pass it back to you from 87 NP in Clydesdale. 1, 2, and 3.
AD7 NP, thanks for that. This is Dave, KD7ZYM, and again it's time to do an ID. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine. Oh my. I'm still feeling a little groggy from eating too much for Thanksgiving, but I think that will flatten out here in about another day. And for Bob, I was going to say, doing all those things at the new property, be sure to let them keep the vertical 2-meter antenna attached to the property. That would be a good thing to do. And then secondary, you were worried about things getting frozen. Myself, when I go away to Arizona at times, I'll leave a water trickling in my kitchen sink. Just a light drizzle, and that seems to keep the pipes from not freezing in the house. So just that little bit of a drizzle helps. That was information that was passed on by the guy that worked on the meter at my house for the water meter. He was talking about winter freeze-ups. So anyway, I've always done that when I go away. I just let the water run a little bit. Might cost you $1 or $2, but I think you're paying a flat fee where you're at, so I don't think it'll make any difference at all in your water consumption. So that's about what's happening here. So let's go back up to Bob, K9PQ.
Well, thank you, Dave. This is Bob, K9PQ, and yeah, that's very cheap insurance to leave a little bit of water running. But we were talking about with my trailer, so I can't do that with the trailer. If we do get a cold snap, I do have a plan. I will just drain all the water, from my drinking water and also from the holding tanks, and I will be a little bit more camping than I am now. I will go and use the restroom at the park, that when they supply, and I will, have my water containers to drink from, and do hand washing and that sort of thing. But yeah, it'll be. I don't foresee that, but I have thought about it for sure. And Jim, that's interesting. You thought about the casita. I'm curious if you got the idea from me or if you had heard of it before. I had never heard of it. My brother, who liked to go to RV shows when they came through, he saw one there, told me about it, and that's how I ended up buying one. But I think so. It's just a fiberglass shell with the only insulation is this carpeting. Only Carlos can see it tonight because he's he's seeing it on Discord. But there's carpeting literally bonded to the inside of the shell, and that's the only. But that's in the interior. Below the floor, I doubt there's anything. I doubt it's just the fiberglass shell. And because all of my heating is above the floorboards, and these pipes are below the floorboards, they'll be a lot closer to the outside temperature than the inside. But I would imagine it would, just the heat coming through the floorboards down into that, under area would heat it up by a few degrees, which is why I think I could get by down to about 30. I just don't know how much I would want to push it. But again, I don't foresee that. But it's going to be probably another 2 to 3 weeks before I'm out of this trailer because it just takes time to get all this stuff done. We're getting really close. We're coming down to the appraisal on my Bothell condo so that I can get the refinance. That's the last. They're just going to say, yeah, we'll fix everything that you asked for. I definitely did not ask for everything that was found in the inspection. There were some things I just wanted to do myself, like he recommended raising the temperature of the water heater. I think he measured like 108 or something, and so that's a bit low for a water heater. So I'm going to be doing that myself, and then I'll just adjust it to where I like it, and a few little things like that. Some things that I just think I would trust myself to do the job than somebody else to do the job. So, we did give them a list, and we'll wait to see what's on that list. I think that part's going to go more quickly. Frankly, I think we're going to be ready to close the deal, and I'll still be waiting on the appraisal because I have heard that setting up an appraisal can take time. And there's the added difficulty of I've already got renters in my condo, and the property manager is not liking the fact that the appraiser is going to have to come into the apartment that her renters just moved into. But fortunately, I'm not in the middle of that one. I'll let them all duke it out, and it'll happen eventually. But it might take a little time. So, yeah, just all those little details. James, what a story. Holy smoke. Wow. The woman being kidnapped as a girl because this guy was sounded like maybe he founded this group or was running this group that was looking into cults, investigating cults. Man, oh man. I guess what an interesting outcome too, that they counseled the woman that kidnapped her and got her to leave the cult, rather than get the law involved and maybe put her away in prison for many years. Just an interesting story all around, and kind of scary what cults can get people to do, I guess, is the other thing I would say. Okay, back to net control, K9PQ.
K9PQ, thanks with that. Let's see if Wade's still with us. W7ITL.
All right, looks like I got audio and video again. I think things are pretty smooth now. Carlos, you got quite the collection of radios there. That's always fun to do, decapping and recapping things. I'm hoping Santa brings something that'll help me out with my decapping adventures. So that'll be something I'm either going to buy myself or something I might end up getting as a present. So we'll see. Besides that, as I was saying, I had a pretty eventful weekend. Shopping, Christmas parties. Not Christmas parties, but Thanksgiving parties. We went to a birthday party last weekend. And just at home now. And the weather is quite cold here in Tacoma. I didn't measure it, but I went on a walk with my dog before the net, and my face was quite cold when I got in, and my glasses fogged up, so I know it's pretty cold out there. So yeah, I don't know if we're going to see snow soon, or if this is just a cold snap without the snow. But that's all I got. All right, I'll back to net control. This is W7I.
W7ITL, thanks for that. This is Dave, KD7ZYM, and this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the O2 machine. Let's pick up Jim, N7QO in Covington.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, Carlos, more radios. Excellent. we can see that just fine. Good video, good audio. Jim, yeah, what Bob said. Many people experience some sort of trauma, but that story is particularly intense. Man, I don't know what sort of experience you'd need to go through to recover from that. But wow. Bob, no, we saw the casita before you had one. I'm not sure where we saw it advertised, but we saw it advertised somewhere. My guess is it was on television, but it's not impossible. It was in some magazine somewhere. When I was working, I used to subscribe to several different magazines, and that way, as the days would go on, I would just leave a magazine which I read, leave it in the back pocket of an airplane seat or something for other people to look at. It worked well for me. My load got lighter the longer I was at work. And we were thinking about that because it's easy to tow, and it's a step above the pop-up trailer that we used to have. But you still need to get out of it. Like if we're going on a trip somewhere, it would be necessary if we want to go back and take a break or make some lunch or something. Still have to get out of the the vehicle and go back to the trailer. So we had a van camper, which worked out very well for us for several years, and we kind of miss that. But we like the casita, what we saw of it advertised anyway. And, well, by the way, Carlos momentarily put your video on the ATV repeater. That was good. Thank you for doing that, Carlos. And good luck with your closing. Wade, snow coming? Oh, bite your tongue. I don't know. They're not forecasting that, but the weather guessers have been known to be wrong before. So we'll keep our fingers crossed that it doesn't happen here. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
N7QO, thanks for that. Let's go to James, WU7N.
And WU7N, Whiskey 7N, Whiskey Uniform 7N. Okay, I'm coming through, let's see, the pathway is from my phone through my neighbor's generously loaned Wi-Fi onto the internet, and eventually gets up to the mountain and gets rebroadcast, and also gets put out on our streaming site on QSL.net for anyone listening or watching right now. Well, I've got a new problem, and Carlos, you've really inspired me here with your recapacitor efforts. You mentioned that you could, someone was out selling kits for certain popular radios. There must be one for an IC-706 Mark G. I'll show you what that looks like there and see if that comes through. That's what it looks like. And as you can see, it's an oldie but a goodie. And then what I'm doing is I'm looking at this power meter right there. And what's happening is that I'm getting erratic power readings out. In other words, I have the radio turned down to minimum power, which I think should be 4 or 5 watts. I'll have to double check the manual. But for some reason, the meter is showing me 20 watts. And so I checked the power supply voltage to see if I was, juicing up the radio through the DC power inputs or something. And it's 13.7. I'll have to check the specs on that. I think that's within spec or tolerance. But then I just checked it again on a different scale, and it was 4 watts. And then I checked it again, and then it's back to 20 watts. So I don't know if the meter's being erratic or the radio's being erratic, but it is a pretty old radio and probably is way overdue to have its capacitors replaced as well. I think it's from somewhere back in the 1990s. So anybody has any comments or thoughts on that, I'm always interested in hearing everyone's opinions. So let's see, what else? Carlos, yes, I think that's great that you were able to find 2 older radios, and now you can repair those. And that is quite a story. As I said, there's nothing in my family lore that can match getting kidnapped. But the weirdest thing, I just kind of wondered, I would have loved to have been there, because I guess when the woman returned her to the office or something, the dad didn't know she had been kidnapped yet. And so that must have been an odd conversation. Before the days of cell phones and videos on everyone's cell phones, because that would have been a good moment to capture. Or maybe not, I don't know. So let's see. It is getting awfully cold. I was walking out today. I do this thing where I'm spinning a ball on a rope because it's supposed to help rotate or cuff muscles, and it does do a very good job of that, but my hands were bare and my hands were getting cold as I was walking along. So it is definitely chilly out there tonight. So I'm watching the temperatures very carefully. I think it's supposed to touch close to freezing here in Northeast Bellevue tonight. So, well, anyway, that's all I think I have for now. Looking at the time here, it looks like we got, 9 minutes left. So let me turn it back to Dave, our net control, and see if we can get one more round in here. This is James WU7N in Northeast Bellevue, hitting the stop.
WU7N, thanks for that. And let's go to Carlos, 87NP.
All right, this is 87NP. Oh, gotta remove the audio. I'm bringing Bob on the air. Bob, I'm sending an image that it's both you and me on Discord. So this way we share the stage, and people can see the insulation there on the on the trailer. Very good. So James, on the recap of the 706, I mean, I would doubt that radio doesn't seem as old. I think that's from the generation of the 7000, I think. But as you were discussing it, I was thinking, well, you should probably check amps coming from the power supply to make sure that the power reading aligns with the amps consumption that you're seeing from the meter. And I would definitely advise kind of trying different meters. And that one is a level of miniaturization that might be a little more challenging. I'm sure there would be capacitor kits, and maybe, you know, I haven't looked into that radio model. Maybe there's a specific capacitor that is more problematic than others. So something to try out. And Wade, I think I showed last time, if you're going to go into decap, I definitely recommend the Heiko suction desoldering tool. It's very, very effective on sucking all the solder out and removing components for pass-through components. I did what was it? Oh, a Sega Game Gear that had surface mount capacitors, and for that one, that required kind of the hot flux, hot hair from my soldering station that's there in the back. That's one of those things next to the yellow soldering filter. So with the times as I go and add some more stuff into kind of projects, I add up more tools. And Black Friday is, of course, a fantastic opportunity to add more tools. I think I was missing a router, not a networking router, but a DeWalt router. So I was missing that on my setup to pass some cables on some woodwork that I was doing. So that's what's coming next. In terms of radio activities over here, I leveraged kind of this break to try to do some satellite contacts, but seems like the International Space Station has their repeater disabled, and so I was only able to make a contact on the radio Sputnik 44, RS 44, oldie but keeps going, and the HF bands are also quite down. I need to get a better antenna to well, it's probably not correct. The 20 meters, kind of 15 and 12 are a little bit down. So I need to get a better antenna to the 80 meters. That's kind of what's more active. And one day I'll attempt an antenna for 160, but I might need to kind of have something that goes around the neighborhood. I don't think my lot alone will be enough for a proper 160 meter antenna. I think that's it. Oh.
I think that's it.
Oh. I know what it is. Dave showed up on Discord, but he was his audio on. I've muted it temporarily. I'm sending it back to Dave, our net control, from 87 NP in Clyde Hill. And, oh, look at this. So many videos. Have a good night, everyone.
87 NP, thanks with that.
This is Dave, KD7ZYM in Lake City. Well, it's been an interesting net tonight, talking about things that happened. Really sorry about that episode that Mike didn't want to depress for me there. Let's see if I can get that going again. James's story about the cult, I thought that was very interesting. And Bob, very soon to be into his new digs. I imagine he'll be looking forward to that. I hope he doesn't freeze his pipes in the next few weeks, as this cold weather seems to be a snap in this area. I guess that thing would hold up okay on snow, but you know, when you're close to the water, I don't think you're going to have to worry too much about snow. It just doesn't hit on the downside of where the water is, so that's pretty good. Well, anyway, let's go back up to Bob, K9PQ.
Okay. All this talk about changing capacitors, recapping. Even my Elecraft is getting kind of old. I'm trying to remember when I bought it, probably 02-ish, something like that. But I don't know if it's only the old style capacitors or if all capacitors, still age out and have to be replaced. I have done that kind of stuff. I've soldered things, and but I just don't like doing it. I'm not a electronics aficionado in that way. But I'm going to do some research on the Elecraft and see, at what point do they need recapping, and if needed, I'll take it on. When I built it, I did buy it as a kit, but there was no soldering involved. It was just like putting Lego together, more or less. It was actually, there was some construction there. I had to build the box. So unlike many radios, it's not the metal that is bent into shape, and it is literally you've got small square long almost like a dowel but square metal rods that form the edges, I guess you would say, and then you screw the plates or the metal sheet, I guess, to that. And when you get far enough, you've made yourself a box and it's nice and rigid, but along the way you have to be careful about what you're doing. So there was some construction involved, but as you might imagine, they have outstanding instructions, and it went together very well. But I thought that part of it was kind of interesting. So when it comes, it's basically just a flat pack, and you You're building this box out of flat pieces. Let's see. Yeah, very good, Jim, on the casita. I get what you're saying about that. I mean, I have at times, one of the things that I like about just having a trailer that has a bathroom is I can be and a refrigerator is I can be on a lonely road in the middle of nowhere, and just pull off to the side of the road, go back in the trailer, use the bathroom, get a drink out of the fridge, and off I go again. And so there's that. And then of course when I'm actually camping, it's nice. As we get older, especially in the middle of the night, I don't have to go outside. So yeah, that is a nice thing as well. I can definitely see the advantage of the van. But I was going to say, I thought you were in a bigger RV. I was going to say this casita was pretty small, pretty close quarters. So you got to be, very comfortable being in close quarters with your wife for a long time. But I think that van is the same way. So, oh dear, I'm going over. Sorry, I lost track of the time. This is K9PQ, back to Net Control.
K9PQ, thanks with that. And this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net, broadcasting in digital amateur television in the DVB-T format. Also simulcasting our audio over WWATS 2-meter repeater, WW7ATS 147.08 with a tone of 103.5 for the simulcast. So on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, this is Dave, KD7ZYM, signing off the net. Good evening all.
Okay, I know we're over, but I wanted to show this. I wanted to show this to James. So there's a guy on the internet. His website's called KlondikeMikesCapKits.com, and it looks like he has an ICOM IC706 kit. So if you want to get a kit for yourself, I would suggest go check his website out. And he uses genuine caps, he says. So high quality stuff, it looks like. So give it a shot, and you might have a better radio. Get it all back to factory specs. And then I was going to show this off. It's my hot plate. I don't know if Carlos got to see this, but I use it for desoldering large SMD chips. So it gets pretty hot. I use it already, and you can see there's some marks on it. That's just from the flux, but it works very well. Unfortunately, it doesn't work very good on boards that have dual sides with components on both sides of the PCB. But it works great for single-sided boards. All right. Well, that's all I got, guys. 73 W7IT.
Looks pretty good, Wade. And I think I bought from that website. I have a FRG 9600 receiver that I think I got from that website.